Hi there, my name is Dany. I am an official tour guide here in Paris, and I welcome you to this little preview of my visit in the Latin Quarter. I really like the Latin Quarters because of all the historical buildings you can find from all historical periods. It's like you have ruins from the Roman Empire, medieval buildings, all these boulevards and beautiful residences made by Napoleon, in the 1800s. But you also have very modern palace, from the 1600s, like this one, the Palace of Luxembourg, in the gardens of Luxembourg, which is where I am right now. Let's talk about something that happened in this very same palace 4 centuries ago. In the 1600s, at the beginning, we have a queen here, Maria de' Medici. She was the mother of Louis XIII. Well, he was a minor when his father died, so he couldn't be king, and Maria became the regent. And she loved power. So in 1612, she bought this land from the Duke of Luxembourg. That's why it's called like that, the gardens and the Palace of Luxembourg. So she ordered the construction of this beautiful palace. And a few years later, although it wasn't finished, she moved here. Because the kings of France, they love to live in their palaces when it is still construction site, actually. So Maria, she was the queen regent. So when Louis came of age and became Louis XIII, she still remained very close to him because she loved the throne, she loved the power. And in 1614, there was this bishop who also loved power, and he started his career in court. So by 1622, he was already a cardinal. By 1624, he was the prime minister of France. His name is Armand Jean de Plessis, Duke of Richelieu, also known as the Cardinal Richelieu. So now we have a war against the Habsburgs, and the cardinal proposes an alliance with the Protestants, the German Protestants. And for Maria, this was an outrage because she was a very devoted Catholic, and she was even the head of the devoted party. So in this time, being Catholic or being a Protestant is like choosing a political party. That's why she opposed to that, It was a religious but also a political decision. So the tension between Maria and the cardinal became unsustainable. It couldn't last any longer. And the king was caught in between them. And so we arrived to the 10th of November, 1630. In this palace, in the first floor, in the chamber of the queen, there was an audience, a private audience between the queen mother, Maria de' Medici, and the king, Louis XIII. It was a private audience, so Maria threw everyone out, and Maria requested the dismissal of the Cardinal Richelieu. And while they were talking, a secret door opened, and guess who appeared? The Cardinal Richelieu. He entered to the room. He was uninvited, unannounced. He saw them, and he said, "I suppose you were talking about me." And Maria, in that second, oh my God, she was so enraged. Making a violent scene in front of the king was forbidden, but she couldn't control herself. She accused Richelieu of being a traitor, and then he threw himself at her feet. He kissed her robe, and he swore loyalty to the crown of France. He said that he was no traitor. And Maria looked at the king and she asked, "Are you going to choose this lackey over your own mother?" So the king, looking at her, he said no word. He never even looked at the Cardinal Richelieu. And he took his leave. Maria, she smiled, triumphant. And the Cardinal Richelieu, he was so humiliated. He decided to leave the court, for good. And the king, he went to Versailles. Now, Versailles, by now, is a hunting lodge far from Paris in the middle of the forest. And the king loves to go there to hunt and to be alone, So he went there with one of his favorites, the Duke of Saint-Simon. And after much talking with him, he summoned the Cardinal Richelieu there in Versailles. And the cardinal went only to find that the king had decided to keep him. So he confirmed his position in court as prime minister. He approved all the strategies, regarding the war and the Protestants. And he also decided to exile his own mother. So the next day, November 11th, the king came back to Paris with Richelieu at his right hand. And when the people in court saw that, they were like, "What? What happened here? We were just celebrating his downfall, so what is he doing here?" The Duke of Saragon, he said, "Well, clearly we have all been fooled today." And that's the name of this episode, actually. La Journée des Dupes. It means Fool's Day. Because, Maria thought she won. Richelieu thought he fell from grace. But in the end, it was the other way around, and it all happened here in this palace. Do you want to know more? Do you want to know more stories like this one? Then don't forget to book your visit in the Latin Quarters next time you come to Paris. And if you have questions, just contact me. I will be very, very happy to get in touch with you and help you with whatever I can.